Hey guys, in this episode, I am joined by house artist and producer and founder of the label Fresh Squeeze, Landis. Landis's music has caught the attention of major labels like Hexagon, Mad Decent, Spinnin Records, and Dim Mak, just to name a few. He also runs Wired Sound Academy, a premier DJ and music production school located in Fort Lauderdale for aspiring artists. I'm so excited for him to share his stories and experiences from working in this industry for the past 10 years. So with all that being said, let's get into it. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I'm your host, Emma Capotis. How are we all feeling, people? Oh my gosh, let me just tell you. Today, the day that I'm recording, is the day after the EDC announcement, and let me just say, we're feeling a lot of things. We're feeling excited, we're feeling overwhelmed, we're feeling a little stressed and pressed for time, but it's all gonna be good. Collectively, we need to take a deep breath. Okay, and we're reset, we're calm. I'm bringing the energy today, you guys. So a couple quick announcements before we dive into today's interview. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Landis. If you aren't already familiar with him, he is gonna provide you with all the fun, bouncy, groovy house beats that you need in your life. And his history and just experience in this industry is really, really cool. So we're gonna talk a lot about like record labels and producing your own music and getting that released and the marketing behind it. And we're also gonna talk about his production school, which is really cool. So all of those good things. Okay, two major announcements. Number one, you guys, I decided to drop the merch line a week in advance. Okay, I got really excited. I didn't wanna wait till the 21st. So if you're watching on YouTube, the new mini Plur collection is officially live. You guys can go out, pick up any of the items. I'm so excited for this collection, you guys. I love it. I have been wearing these items around the house so much. I've got a hoodie, t-shirt, long sleeves, face masks, which I love. I've been wearing the face masks a lot. I have stickers, a mug, a tote bag, and a tank top. I believe that's everything. So if you guys want to support the podcast, definitely go pick up the Plur collection. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. So that's officially out. There will be a link in the show notes if you want to buy anything. And then second, I want to ask you guys a question. You listening, I'm asking you a question. Can you imagine what it would feel like to finally launch your podcast and know that your message is being heard out there by audiences around the world? If you are a person that's ever wanted to launch a podcast, can you picture what that feeling would feel like? Well, that is basically my goal with my brand new course, How to Successfully Create and Launch a Podcast from Scratch, which is now officially open for enrollment. I am so excited about this new course, you guys. You have no idea. In this 6 weeks, I can't talk. In this 6-week course, you guys are you're gonna stop second guessing yourself. You're gonna throw away any excuses that you might have about how much time or how much money it's gonna take. You're finally going to take your ideas for your podcast, and we are going to successfully turn them into a high quality podcast that you will be able to easily distribute yourself. I'm teaching you literally everything you need to know about creating a podcast from scratch to launch. Within the 6 weeks, you will launch your podcast. No more excuses. It's friggin' happening. So if you guys want to invest in yourself, if this is something you're interested in, if you just want to do it, like, no more hesitating, you guys. It is my personal mission to assist you and support you throughout this entire process. I have now launched 2 podcasts myself, and I can tell you the exact framework I use so that you guys can do it as well. Each week of the 6 weeks, you will receive a live lesson from me in our weekly group meetings, and you're also going to have access to a community group chat, which was the most amazing community when I launched my first course in January. So you have support in that community every single day. So if you guys are ready to invest in yourself, if you are interested in this course or you know you want to register, there will be a link in the show notes with all of the information you need and a breakdown of everything you'll be learning. So you guys can go ahead and register. Just so you're aware, right now I'm doing a pre-sale week. So until next Monday, I'm offering the course at $100 off of the full price. So you will save $100 if you register now through Monday. So act while you can to get that deal, and then next Wednesday it'll go up to full price. So anyway, with all that being said, you guys, really quickly, I'm gonna do my weekly affirmation and then we'll jump right into the episode. So my affirmation for the week is, I have limitless belief in myself. I have limitless belief in myself. I think this one is super fitting for this week. Landis is gonna talk a lot about how he grew his career and finding his sound and everything like that. And I just personally connect with this as well. Like, you guys, whether it's launching your own podcast, doing your own thing, starting a YouTube channel, putting yourself out there, like, have limitless belief in yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you. That has to come from within. So we're going to project that out into the world today. Have an incredible day, guys, wherever you're listening from. Let's do this thing. Also, really quick announcement, you guys. Landis has a new single dropping this Friday, the 16th, called Wasting Time. Go stream it, go show some love and support. Check out Wasting Time, dropping on the 16th. All right, let's roll right into this interview. So, you guys, today my guest is an incredible house producer based out of Miami. He's had releases on Hexagon Records, Mad Decent, Spinnin Records, to name a few, and has recently started his own label, Fresh Squeeze. If you aren't already bumping his music, you will be all this summer. So please join me in welcoming Landis to the podcast. Yay.
What is up, hey?
Thank you so much for your time today. How are you doing?
I'm good, yeah, I'm good. Just here working in the studio. So, you know, working on new tunes, trying to get ready for summer. Hopefully we got some shows coming up.
And you're in Miami too, right?
Yeah, it's been interesting here because it's pretty much like no COVID's going on.
Yeah.
So, you know, I played a show actually like a couple months ago in Fort Lauderdale, which is like right near Miami. Mm-hmm. And it's weird. Some people are wearing masks, some people aren't. They try to distance people and stuff. But now, like the past like couple of weeks with like spring break, it's just been like all mayhem. Like no.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, it's looking like things are opening up. I was gonna ask, what are your predictions for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly it's gonna be pretty massive for the music industry and like live shows. People, I feel like almost at the end of 2019, like when I would go to the clubs out here, you can kind of see fatigue. Like people were kind of getting tired of going out, bottle service, the whole nine. And I think that this is gonna, like, you know, make people realize what we lost, you know, with live events and being able to go to shows. So I think it's actually gonna be insane, probably for like the next 3 to 5 years. I would say for live events. 100%.
I heard something too. It was like we're reliving the Roaring -- which I don't know how that happened, but we kind of. I feel like that's what's about to happen.
Hopefully, no world war in the future either.
Yes, very true, very true. But are you originally like born and raised in Miami?
Yeah, so born and raised in South Florida, probably like 45 minutes from Miami or so.
Okay.
Yeah, same with my mom lived here too. Grew up in like the 70s here.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I've been here my whole life.
Permanent resident. Yeah.
Yep, Florida man. Born and raised.
I was gonna ask you too. Like I know it's like you said it's up and running, but Miami, I've only been twice. But I was gonna say even pre-pandemic, like it just seems to be absolutely booming, especially for like the house and techno scene. And even with shows coming back, I know they're doing like some socially distanced and some not, like you said, like some fully open. But what's your experience like there? Like, do you still go out to shows just as a fan, and what places do you like to hit up?
So I've still been pretty cautious, mainly waiting on my family members and stuff, my parents to get the vaccine. But I've been out a couple times to like spots in Fort Lauderdale. Like there's this place Rave that opened up. There's a lot of like cool little kind of more underground places that popped up, like because Live, Story, the main players aren't really, they didn't open up. So it gave way to kind of these new little venues. Like this one in Rose is kind of like almost like a dive bar club. It's like a dive club, you know.
Okay.
Really interesting vibe. But yeah, they love tech house and stuff there. So I've been there a couple times. And then Miami was really strict. I mean, they just reinforced the curfew. So a lot of the shows there were cut off at 12 a.m. anyways. You know, I know a lot of good stuff's been going on at like Treehouse and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite venues in Miami, but I haven't been there yet since the curfew and everything.
Yep,
so,
yep.
Yeah, really just more local, and then just played a couple shows myself.
Cool. Pre-COVID and everything like that, like, are you a person that likes to go out a lot? Or, I mean, I get the impression that you're very busy. It sounds like you have a lot going on.
So, I mean, it's always like awesome when a friend's playing to go out and support, you know. That's the main time you'd see me out partying is when like one of my friends are playing a set, or something like that, or someone from Hexagon is here or something like that. But festivals, on the other hand, I love festivals. I'm not a huge club person as far as like attending clubs.
Right.
Attending festivals all day. You'd see me out at EDC and stuff like that.
I was going to ask, wait, what are some of your favorite festivals?
Yeah, like, you know, I've been to Ultra a couple times. I haven't played it, but it's cool. It's very crowded, and it's been kind of a little crazy with the city of Miami, you know. So I'm not really sure on the future of that. Like, people always ask me, like, what's Ultra like? But EDC, I'm just like a massive EDC fan. I've been to probably like 8 or 9, like EDC Orlando, EDC Vegas. I went to EDC New York when it was there for like 2 years. So yeah, I'm just one of the biggest fans of EDC in general.
Oh, that's so awesome. Wait, so how long? Because I want to take your story back a little bit and like find out how you got into all of this. But were you a little bit of a raver beforehand, or like what got you into dance music? Yeah,
so early age, discovered DJing when I was like 12 or 13. My brother's friend was a DJ, and you know, I was like, oh, this looks like, you know, something that'd be fun to go party and, as a 13-year-old.
Right.
Playing like birthday parties, stuff like that. So I started DJing then, and then through high school, I was always like the DJ for high school parties and stuff like that. And then when I was like 17, my brother took me to Ultra. So this is like 2009 or something like that. Yeah, 2009.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So I went to Ultra for the first time, and that's when I really discovered like electronic music, like what actual DJ sets could be, as opposed to just like the background music for a party. At that time, it was still pretty like the DJ scene wasn't as mainstream, especially for a 17-year-old.
Right.
You know, people like what was big was like Lil Wayne, like rappers, like stuff like that. That was top at that moment. So like Tiesto was almost like underground at that time, which is
right. Yeah.
But yeah, so I discovered it at 17 by going to Ultra. And then, you know, from there, I was like, you know, the biggest artists to me were like Pretty Lights, you know, people like that. Trying to think, Super Smash Bros. Was it Super Smash Bros? Some of the mashup girl talk. That was like I wanted to be a mashup
yes.
DJ.
Yeah.
A mashup DJ. I'm gonna make the best mashups in the game. That's actually how I got into producing, was trying to actually make mashups.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm sure there's some of my old mashups floating around there.
Wait, what year did you graduate high school?
2010.
Oh, okay. I was 2009. I was going to say, people our age will know who Girl Talk is, but I've mentioned that before because that was the first, I guess, technically DJ I ever saw live in college. It's so funny.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to those guys. I haven't seen that.
I know. That's so funny. Yeah.
He's still around. I know Caps Lock was one of the early.
Yep, 100%. That's so funny. So you did some mashups first.
So yeah, I started learning Ableton and got some private tutoring when I was like 18 for trying to be a mashup DJ. Went to UCF in Orlando, and it was an awesome time there. It was like the time when Henry Fong, Kilogram, Dallas K, they were all there, like doing this. It was like these small house parties, stuff like that.
Oh wow!
So I became friends with like Henry and stuff like that during that time there. It was really local, like, you know, literally a little small club that everyone played at on what was called Riot Wednesdays.
Wow.
So that was, my early introduction into like the dance world, was like meeting Henry and Dallas K, people like that.
Wow. And so what were you doing in school? What were you studying?
Studying psychology. It's just pretty much
totally random.
In Florida, there's something called Bright Futures, or there's also like, it's like pretty much like a scholarship program. So I had that. I really wanted to go to Full Sail, which was like it's like a music production academy. But my family was pretty much like, nah, you have this full scholarship, like, you know.
Yeah.
So
you just stick with it.
But I really just did Ableton lessons and all that stuff at the same time.
Cool.
You know, and just living the college life.
Yeah. So then but that's pretty amazing though, like the exposure that you had just to that though. And like you said, you were just doing the thing. So you were kind of learning on the job as you were going.
Yeah, like I think it was in like hindsight really fortunate that I almost went to FSU, which is like in Tallahassee, and it didn't have that same like group of people coming up at the time that were like really electronic music specifically.
Right.
So I think that it really exposed me to like the electronic scene when being in Orlando at that time. And then, from there, I actually got an internship in South Florida, ironically. So I was driving up and down from Orlando to South Florida like every weekend to work in the studio down here.
Oh, cool.
And it was the Dayglow Life in Color studio.
Okay.
So I started interning for Dayglow. It was like the massive
paint
party.
That's so awesome. Yeah.
For the DJ there is like DJ Solano, who is like their...
You were blowing my mind right now. Like these were all my first shows. That was my first literally my first EDM show.
Making a podcast for Dayglow. I was doing a lot of like the back end stuff.
So cool. Yeah, because they're based out of Florida, right?
Yeah.
That's their headquarters.
Florida. Yeah. So I was working at like a studio that was attached to the Dayglow office at the time. So there, I think I played like Life in Color, Miami, and stuff like that. When it started to become more of a festival and stuff. But yeah, just kind of interning for their DJ and stuff like that.
Cool. I was gonna say that was when they were like absolutely booming too, because they were just touring all the time and like growing like crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome, and they're pretty young guys too at the time. They were like 28, 27. Yeah, it was really cool that they were destroying the scene.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people, I mean, just like as fans too, I'm sure a lot of people within like the 2010 to 2013 time frame too, when it was just like exploding into like mainstream, that's when a lot of people were getting into it. And that was my first show as well, Life in Color in New Jersey. So yeah, it's like a catalyst for people.
Yeah, they did a good job, I think, at engaging like the college crowd and people like that weren't really into dance music that were like, oh, go have an experience.
Right.
Which is kind of what like EDC did, but just on a way more massive scale, was just like drawing people in with this like carnival experience, and then goes to all this amazing electronic music. So
the paint, yeah. So were you producing at this time?
Yeah. So starting from like 18, I started producing on Ableton, and then the swap, it was working for free, and it was like I would do all this kind of grunt work. In exchange, they would give me like an hour of showing me some tips on Ableton and stuff like that.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So then where did it go from there? What were the next few years like?
Yeah, from there, like my first remix, I got my first remix opportunity with Solano for Robbie Rivera. I don't know if you know Robbie.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool guy also. And we did that remix. It did decent and got me recognized by another record label, which was CR2, which is a little more tech housey. They're still around, not as big of a presence, I think, as they used to have. They signed another remix that they asked me to do, and then I'm trying to think after that. It was always just like kind of a series of people hearing my music from like other labels or remixing other artists until eventually I released on like Spinnin or Hexagon.
Right. Okay.
That's kind of how it was early on, because it wasn't like you didn't get like Spotify playlisted. That wasn't the thing. It was like the labels were kind of the power players and kind of gearing where people listen to electronic music was like was released on this record label or this record label.
Right.
And that just kind of spiraled from one label to the next. That's one thing that people that I've talked to in person that are in the industry that they always like notice about me is that I've released on like literally Matt Decent, Dimmock, Spinnin, Armada, like pretty much all over the place. So
that's crazy. Were you on SoundCloud too, like just posting your own stuff, or?
Yeah. I'd say my traction, I was really at that time like focused on trying to get on like Hardwell on Air and like Fort charts. That was like the pinnacle. But I was on SoundCloud, but the most stuff that got me noticed was like the Hardwell on Air plays and stuff like that. It's crazy, like also in hindsight, how big of a pull like just being played on a radio show used to be. Right.
Yeah, no, you're so like you said, playing on Spotify or some of the different charts like Beatport and stuff like that. Now it's like if you hit a certain point, then it's just like escalates from there pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. So were you playing, did you start playing shows more often? Was it more local?
Yeah, simultaneously, I got introduced to an agent and all that when I was releasing on like Robbie Rivera's label. I got introduced to his agent, so he started getting me some shows, and then I started to hit it a little bit with the like Melbourne bounce sound, which was like
cool.
Euro,
Yeah,
they are like that kind of style. So I started to gain some like traction there, started touring and really, going across the country, played, in Sweden and stuff as well. And then that genre just like completely died off like at once. So then I was like, all right, kind of trying to adjust my sound. From then I just kind of focused on just house music that made me feel good. So I'd say like it was actually probably fortunate because I'd still probably be making the same electro bounce sound if something like that didn't happen.
Right.
And since that point, I've always been trying to evolve my sound and kind of, not focus on trends, but just like kind of keep my ear to the ground and try and push myself, like push my boundaries, because I feel like that's the only way that I'll create something like that sounds great. Is just pushing it.
Right. You actually, it's so funny that you said like feel good house music, because I was going to ask you like how you eventually evolved your sound, but you answered my question already. I love that you said that though, because I feel like house music right now just keeps having this resurgence, and I feel like all of these subgenres of it right now are just exploding. Like tech house is having a moment, and like even disco house is kind of like, but there's also this, I don't know, sometimes I call it groovy house, but I don't know, feel good house, uplifting house, I guess you could call it, that's having a moment as well.
Yeah, I think that house music will always have like its core fan base, and then there are subgenres that people go crazy for. But that was one of the reasons. Like I almost tried to make a trap song, and I was like, nah, this isn't. I'm just gonna stick to house music. I know it's gonna come back. This is like in like 2016 when house music was kind of not really in the forefront. And I was still just making house music. And I just have always kind of believed in the house music sound and just like the feeling that it gives. So it's really cool to me to see like like MK or like these songs that sound almost like 90s like house music that are popping off today, like just like this piano house sound and stuff like that. So
good. Yeah, I was gonna say like I feel like people even like Dombresky, or I love LPGOB right now. I think she's doing a really cool thing. It's just it's interesting to hear all these people have their own styles. But you named a couple people so far. What are some other artists that you were kind of looking up to?
Like recently or just in the past?
I guess, when you were kind of developing your sound.
I mean, like the big room guys were huge, like Showtek, Hardwell, Chucky, guys like that were like the pinnacle for me at the time. But then, my sound, like it's crazy to me. I didn't know who MK was until like maybe 2 years ago. He was already so massive.
Right.
So it's always funny to me where I'm just like, just going about listening through Spotify or something like that. And I discover an artist. I'm like, oh, this is dope. And I'm like, oh, wait, they're massive. And I just I've never heard them. Like, how did that happen? Another one's like Vintage Culture. Like, absolutely massive artist. Never heard of him until It Is What It Is, the song that came out recently. Which is like, kind of just a feel-good house track.
That's so funny. Like, you don't know what you don't know, though. You know what I mean? I didn't discover Vintage Culture until I was watching the EDC Mexico live stream in 2020, last February, and I like made the mistake of commenting that in the chat. I'm like, oh my god, who are these guys? And people are like, are you fucking joking? I'm like, oops, I'm gonna excuse myself now.
It's so cool because there's so many like pockets of just massive fan bases, and then you just kind of like tap into it and you're like, wow, I did not realize that this person was massive in Mexico or half the
that's
world.
So true. Yeah. What do you think about some of the music festivals now that are becoming more, I guess like you could say, one genre festival? Because I know they announced one called ARC, which is going to be in Chicago, I think Labor Day weekend, and it's an all-house music festival.
Yeah, I mean, I think that has kind of happened in the past, just on a smaller scale. Like with an all trap lineup or like a all like future house lineup. But since, like you said, there's so many of these subgenres within house, it's kind of one genre, but at the same time, like, listen to a tech house track compared to like a big room house track. It's like nothing. Yeah. It's crazy to me. Some people group that all under one facet, but it really isn't anymore. I think it's just evolved so much. Even though they're all at like 120 beats per minute to like 130 beats per minute, somewhere in that range, the actual sound is so different that we'll still be able to get like, you know, going hard and then kind of like more laid back deep house vibes, you know, on different stages, stuff like that.
Yeah. So interesting. Do you think your taste has changed too as you worked in this industry?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like when I listen to like a bounce track now, I'm like, it's good. Versus like, you know, hearing like a feel good like MK track or something like that. I try and liken everything to just emotions and how the track physically makes you feel.
Right.
And then when I produce myself, trying to emulate like what am I trying to feel, like what, you know, what kind of feeling do I want to get from this track? Is it more just kind of laid back, you know, just chilling on the beach, or is it kind of going hard, or is it just like you just feel good when you listen to it, you know? Right. I think the best tracks definitely evoke some specific emotion people, and it's kind of consistent through all listeners, you know? Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And even like, do you approach it the same too when you're playing different types of events? Because I was going to say, if you play a music festival versus like a small club in Florida, is it still kind of the same tone, or do you kind of switch it up? Yeah, I definitely try and read the room. Like when I have a set, I usually have about 200 tracks or so loaded up. And then just based on the vibe of the room, if they're feeling like the more energetic stuff, then I'll play more of that. You know, I'll just kind of test things out live, and just see what the vibe is. Because you really don't know until you get there. Like you can plan all you want, but like if the crowd isn't feeling it, then you just got to kind of like switch up on the fly. Right. Unless you're like, you know, Don Diablo or someone where everyone knows every song. It's a little different. But when you're at my level, where, you know, maybe people know a track or two, but a lot of the other music that I have don't necessarily know, you have to be a little more flexible, I feel like, in your set to play to the crowd and make sure everyone's having a good time. Yeah. Do you get nervous before shows still? Yeah. Every time. I can't even imagine. Especially when people's had time off too. I'm like, are they going to feel all these nerves again going back to shows after this? Like whenever I played like a 3-show weekend where it'd be like, here. By show 2, I felt fine. You know, it's just that first show, and it's not even like getting nervous about playing. It's more about getting nervous about stuff going wrong. Like I've had it happen. I always am like, all right, that's the worst thing that could have possibly happened. So it can't get much worse than that. Like I always think about this one moment it was Life in Color in probably 2011. And I was playing with my buddy Crespo, like a back-to-back set, which we hadn't done before. And we were opening for Dirty South. And this is probably in front of like 6,000 or 7,000 people. Yeah. I was like, you know, 19 or 20 at the time. I accidentally just like cut the volume. I have no idea why. It was probably just nerves, and I thought I was you know, switching to the next channel. Cut the volume and just dead silence in front of like 7,000 people, and we still hear it in our headphones. So we're like, why is everyone going like, oh? So that's like, you know, my nightmare. It happened. Yeah. And, so I always think about that. I'm like, all right, it can't get much worse than that. Right, yeah. And everyone has to live through these experiences too. Like it's happened to everybody in some sort. Like somebody spilled a drink on it, or like, I can't even imagine. But it's good. You survived. You're here. Exactly. That's so funny. Oh, man. Well, no, I'm excited. And I'm excited for you guys, especially like to have shows come back and everything. Like what does the rest of the year look like for you? Do you have stuff planned out? Yeah, well, I know I was looking at, I had a couple of venues in like Denmark, Dubai, Sweden that were looking to book me. So I'm hoping that we can get those shows going again. I'd love to see those places also. I'm a huge, like, I just love traveling. Like, honestly, so I love seeing new places and stuff like that. So anytime I see like an email come in for like, oh, maybe you're gonna go to Dubai, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. So cool. So hopefully some places like that would be awesome. Trying to talk to the EDC people to see about. I played EDC a couple times. So I'm trying to see. You know, I've also worked with their label with Insomniac. So maybe, hopefully, getting on an EDC lineup or something like that. We're manifesting it, yeah. As many times as possible. Yeah. Yeah, just trying to put out as much feel good music as possible. I think you know, a lot of the music that came out the past couple of years, or not the past couple of years, but since COVID, it's been a little more downer, or trying to gear towards radio, or like, you know, and now that clubs and stuff are more open, I'm personally going to be putting out like more just club music, just stuff that
Right.
will go off in the club.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a little bit more where my passion lays. Making feel good club music that will play out and be a party tune. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you're so right. It definitely is different, a different experience, even with people releasing music and only getting to play it on live streams this past year. I can't imagine. Have you done a lot of live streams at all?
I actually haven't. I haven't done any live streams, you know.
Okay.
And I'm not like against them or anything. I just, you know, I just never really saw a perfect moment, and I didn't want to be flooding people's feeds like, come checking me out live. Yeah, I think experience-based stuff is like everything. Obviously, COVID, you know, that wasn't a possibility.
Right.
But I just believe in that the experience just won't be the same versus, you know, in person.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. I think there's something about it just in general with live streaming where you, like, as the person being on the other end, you kind of just have to keep your energy levels up no matter how many people show up, if that makes sense. So it's like, and it's just weird. Like you thrive off of probably the crowd and like their energy and everything like that. So just to be performing in your room and like the corner of your bedroom, it's got to be such a weird, I can't even imagine.
yeah. And keeping, like, you can't read a crowd. There is no crowd.
Yeah.
Except for little like heart emojis, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Oh, that's all right. Well, you've kept busy in other ways. I mean, can you talk a little bit now? Like, well, actually, I'll ask you this first because I want to know a little bit about how these different labels that you mentioned have played a role in your career, because I know a big one is Hexagon and Don Diablo's label. Can you talk a little bit about that relationship?
Yeah, so Hexagon, I released, I think, my first track with them, I want to say in like 2016 or 17. I'd have to double check. And it just came from, I think a friend gave me Don's email, and I sent him a demo that was like a rough at the time. He was like, yeah, this is cool. Like, you know, they're putting together an ADE sample mix or sample pack. I'm sorry, not sample pack, an ADE compilation pack. For Hexagon. I think it was like the first ADE compilation pack. Would I want to be featured on it? And I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. So like I said, that was like 2016 or 17. And then just over the years, you know, whenever I have a new track that I make, I send it to probably like 3 to 5 different labels to gauge reactions, see who would be interested. And just the relationship with, like I said, I've released with a lot of labels, and just Hexagon, they just do it right. And I'm absolutely like in love with the fan base, and just like the Hexagon, the Hexagonians, the fans, is like unbelievable and supportive. And it's not something that I've seen from any other label or just community. And just, so I wanted to kind of lean into that more, because I think it's a real community that is like something truly special in the world, is the Hexagon community. From there, just kept releasing music. We did about 3 more singles together, I want to say. And then I was like, hey, you know, I'd been releasing music on Fresh Squeeze on my own label for maybe 2 years. When I, you know, didn't have a label or something like that, but I wanted to put it out. I was just like, all right, I'm just going to put it out on my own. And, you know, I was like, hey, would you guys want to maybe team up on Fresh Squeeze? And they said, yeah. So that's
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I can't imagine. They definitely do have like a huge loyal following too. And I think it's interesting just when you see like an artist release with like a label like that too. I just feel like it also just gives so much, obviously, credibility. And not only that, but you have the support of this huge community behind you. And like obviously Don Diablo is incredible and his work is amazing, but it's really, really cool. And I love all of the tracks that you've put out on that label. And you mentioned it here, but you started your own label too. Like, how did that come about?
So originally, you know, Fresh Squeeze, which is my label, was just kind of, like I said, an outlet for me to put out music that maybe wasn't going to get signed, or I was just impatient and wanted to release it in like 3 weeks. So a lot of times that's how I work. I get very excited about it, and I'm like, all right, this has to come out like in 3 weeks. I don't want to wait. You know, because the label process can be up to 6 months sometimes. It's crazy.
Wow. Okay.
from when you make a song. So I just wanted to have that kind of outlet. And so that's where Fresh Squeeze came from. Personally, I love the color orange. I love oranges, and I wanted to do something that was like fresh house music or fresh dance music, not really
love it.
confining to like future bass or a specific genre, but just fresh music, fresh stuff. So that's where the Fresh Squeeze name came from. And then the relationship with Hexagon happened, and then we actually just released our first new artist on Fresh Squeeze 2 weeks ago. The guy Christian Lukes, who put out an absolute banger. So gotta go check that out. It's called Put Your Hands in the Air. So that was the first new artist I actually signed to the label outside of just my music.
Awesome. How long did that take to get him to release a song?
I'd say probably about like a month and a half, 2 months.
Okay.
When the label first launched as a sub of Hexagon, I got like probably 150 to 200 demos. So a lot of just kind of picking through and finding the best for the sound for the label. And one thing I'm realizing, because I used to get demos a lot too, and I still do, but quality of production I'm noticing is just getting so much better.
Really?
There was probably like 10 or 15 in there. I was like, all right, maybe I'll sign this, and then I sent it to the Hexagon. They're like, no, let's focus on this one or this one. But yeah, that's something I'm realizing is just the quality is getting so much better.
Yeah, I genuinely can't even imagine how you make yourself stand out or something, because even every single week I do a new Music Friday playlist, and there's just so much to pick from, and I know I'm just scratching the surface, because I'll go through and hit all the major labels and everything like that, or people have emailed me songs, but I'm like, I'm not even hitting there's so many smaller artists out there who have new music out today. It's genuinely crazy. Plus people have had a year to do nothing but work on their skills,
I think for an artist to have a hit, it's just a combination of kind of luck and just timing and the right sound, and all those things kind of play in. Like on Summit, Deep End, which I'm sure you know that record.
He's having
right?
a huge moment. Yeah, it's crazy.
Massive. And it came from a sample on Splice, which is like a free. I'm not sure if are you familiar with Splice at all.
Yep.
Okay. So you know what Splice is, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners do. It came from there, so it's like anyone could have potentially grabbed that vocal, and it just happened. And there was like 3 other Deep End songs that came out, but his
so interesting.
Was the one in the forefront.
Yeah.
So I think it's just about being proactive as a producer, and a lot of producers that I notice too that are pretty good, sometimes they overthink, or they just they wait months and months and months to release music, and it's more about just like getting it out there, seeing if people react well to it, and hopefully something will happen.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm thinking of so many questions in my head to ask you. I'm so excited. Okay, so I'm curious how the process works too, just going back to the labels, because I think it'd be interesting for the audience to know as well. So you said before, you put a single out and you kind of send it to a few different labels, but is it ever the reverse? Do you also team up with labels and come up with a song, or how does that work?
So the couple instances where that has happened, because it has happened where a label comes to me, but it's usually they'll come to me with a pack of vocals that they got from a publisher or something like that.
Okay.
And they say, hey, do you like any of these vocals? Would like to try something on it. And then I'll find a vocal or 2 in there that I actually really attach to, and then write around the vocal. I'm a very big advocate on not really starting from scratch. I think it's nearly impossible for a producer to start with absolutely nothing. But kudos to those that do it. It's just I'm more of start with something decent and then make it amazing. And so getting good vocals, it makes it so much easier to write music around, as opposed to starting from scratch. So that's a couple is where a label has sent me, hey, we got these vocals. Would you want to try something? And then the track kind of develops from there. Aside from that, it's usually me shopping it around. I've also had labels approach me and say, hey, we'd love to sign something from you. Do you got anything kind of back burner that you can send over? And so
that makes sense. Okay, cool. And so with your label as well, if you just want to put something out, is it your team? How are you building out the whole push, on social media and everything like that?
Yeah, so it's me and then one other guy from Hexagon that I'm dealing with mainly, and we just kind of I'm like, hey, I like this one. What do you think? kind of just a back and forth, very open dialogue. I have a Zoom call with him like once or twice a month. And we just go through records, go through ideas, marketing, everything. Like I said, I've been doing this for close to 10 years, so I have a pretty good understanding now of what, how to market a record.
Process,
the process, how labels, what their role is, and all that. And so I try and be pretty hands-on. Like, I'm literally even making the artwork for all the fresh
I saw that, yeah.
like that. So yeah, I'm very hands-on with stuff. That's something I actually learned from like Don, is very hands-on with the Hexagon brand. And I think as an artist, it's not enough to just make good music. You have to have a vision for your brand and for kind of what you want people to perceive when they go to a show or when they find you online or see you on Instagram. And I wanted to create kind of a brand to kind of emulate what I had in my head, which is just kind of feel good house music and happy vibes.
Yeah, no, you are. You're definitely building that. And I think part of it too is like building out your community as well, because that's huge now with like social media. It's a whole separate presence that you kind of need to nurture as well besides your music. And like you can build a huge loyal following just on social media alone who's going to back you too. It's just like a whole nother part of it you got to like pay attention to.
Yeah, and like it happens, like people just have a hit record out of nowhere and then they're massive. But I feel like the most common thing that happens for successful artists is they build that local community, they build a community of loyal fans, and then they have a record that kind of pops off, and then everyone discovers them. I don't really know John Summit's backstory, but I feel like he's been doing it for a little bit and kind of had a more local following. But it always seems to be the case. That's what I always think. I'm like, there's probably been 4 or 5 or 6 years behind this person, like that they finally are having their moment. Having the moment,
Yeah, no. But that's good. But like you said, I think sometimes with that, though, you build, at least like that's how I think about my own work sometimes. Like you're building a really, really solid foundation that you can fall back on because you're not trying to get these like quick wins. You really have put in the time and the work.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, at the end of the day, you have to love it, like anything. Like if you don't absolutely love making music, it's probably not going to happen because it's just, like I'm up still at 1 a.m. working on a song because, it drives me and I love the music,
So true. Yeah. What about because you said you've been doing this for a really long time. Like what about the industry right now or just about dance music in general, like excites you the most?
I think that house music has found such a big community. I was just talking to my buddy Crespo, who's playing shows, back to playing shows. He's a more open format DJ, which means he like all styles. But he's just like tech house is just slaying like the college crowds, like young, like 20, 21. They go absolutely nuts when you play like a tech house track, like a John Summit track or a Fisher track like that, which is something that definitely 5-10 years ago was not the case. With this just repetitive beat. So that kind of excites me that the younger generation is starting to really love the more kind of what used to be an underground sound, but I guess that's kind of how it always works. It starts as underground and then it becomes but that makes me happy. And then just like I said, I think that the live music industry, DJ sets, clubs, festivals are gonna just have an explosion the next 5 years because people have been so kept away from it and not allowed to go out.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. I mean, I think just to see the revival of this community and people having their jobs back first and foremost, and then fans having that thing that like drives all of us and gets us excited and being able to celebrate and be together again. I think, I can't wait. We talk about it all the time. We're just like, I don't think we're prepared emotionally or physically for the return of like live events and shows. It's been so long, especially I'm in New Jersey. We haven't had any drive-in events, like nothing. So it's definitely been like a long drought of shows, but I'm hoping to return to a festival soon. If EDC doesn't happen in May.
Is it I'm so on, is it happening? And no one knows. Everyone's like, is it going on?
I'm reporting as often as I can on it. I mean, I think right now everything I've heard is like they want it to happen and they submitted all the plans, but it's like really like it's not up to them. It's up to the government and the state. At this point.
I know Nevada is like all like let's open and Vegas is fully open. I went to not as not as good. I went to Disney like a month ago or so, and it was slammed. Like nothing was happening, and I'm like, not really fair that you could say that that's okay, but then an outdoor music festival isn't okay.
Yeah.
And I think if they just kind of enforce masks and say certain areas for drinking and stuff like that, kind of restrict about it, there shouldn't be a reason that it shouldn't happen.
Totally. Yeah, baby. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think I keep, so there's an episode coming out before this one where I like just raw and candid, like said my thoughts and opinions like on the state of everything right now. And I think that's like, there just is no straight and narrow road. Like there isn't one size fits all solution to this. Like it's up to each state and it's going to be what it is, I guess. Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so I want to ask you too, because you're located right now in the Academy. Can you talk a little bit about the Wire Sound Academy?
Yeah. So we're a music production and DJ academy that myself and my buddy DJ Crespo founded. It really was based off of trying to build community here in South Florida and kind of build up the music industry here, because it's got like insane potential to be like in LA or in New York. It's just been very Latin music based for the past couple decades. But I think you're starting to see more DJs, more pop artists, stuff like that move to South Florida. So we wanted to kind of create a hub for aspiring producers, aspiring DJs, and then also just people that are here that are in the industry to come meet up, hang out. I think I can show you like around real quick.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
The cool thing is we're located in a food hall. So
cool.
Yeah. So this is the main studio that I'm in right now.
Awesome.
And we got in here the main classroom. It's a little bit in shambles right now. And then we're overlooking like an actual food hall.
Oh, that's so cool.
They're closed right now. It's Wednesdays through Sundays. And
okay.
You can kind of see there's like a little nightclub that we're setting up.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. Eventually, we want to plug our DJs. We don't want to just be like, all right, good luck. You learn, go figure it out. We want them to actually be playing shows here and playing like locally. COVID kind of affected things a little bit with that, but we've been able to plug some of our DJs and to actually get them paid gigs and all that. And that was really the kind of whole foundation. It was just, more of like a collective than just an academy churning people out.
Right. What are the students like? Like, is it a range of people? Yeah,
it's very definitely been a range. I'd say like 16 to, we've had up to like 40 years old.
Wow.
Some people are in a 9-to-5 and they just are not loving it and they want to do something they love on their off time. Some people are like, this is what they want to do, and just kind of go more full force into it. It's definitely been a wide range of people for what their goals are with it.
Sure.
So.
That's so cool that you're offering that too. Like, so how much time does this take up in your week?
With Wired, you're saying? Are
you there a lot?
Yeah, but it's cool because like I'm in the studio here right now, so I just kind of work on music. I'm very, like from here to here to here to here. I'm just kind of all over the place with my time.
Yeah.
But even when I talk, like I teach some classes too on music production, I still get to like kind of go over current situations. Like, I'm like, all right, this is the record deal that I'm looking at right now for this track. And it's kind of productive in both ways. And I also get to discover like new music, and some of the people, the students in my class will show me like, hey, have you heard of this artist, or like, think of this sound, and it kind of, like I said, kind of helps me keep my ear to the ground for what's maybe an up and coming sound or a style.
Sure.
And also, like kind of just creates a local fan base. My students have become my fans, and also I've become a fan of some of the students, and like actually collabed with one of the students.
Wow.
And stuff like that. So it's for me, it's really cool to see kind of aspiring producers, and then also hear maybe what's next and stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I was going to say the collaboration part of it must be like really rewarding for you as well. Not only that, and just to see them like progress as they go.
Yeah, to see results and stuff, and to see some of these like DJ students actually like slaying it and playing like all the venues here that are open. So that's obviously it's something that's really rewarding, and then just like cool to see, you know. And we have a monthly music industry and open deck mixer event.
Okay.
With COVID, we were limiting it to like 30 people, but now we're starting to open it up a little bit more. So, and that's been really cool also, because we have past students come out, we have people that are like kind of more big players that you know, work at the radio stations down here, or work at, you know, our talent buyers for nightclubs down here come out, and just kind of more of a networking event. And now with COVID kind of settling down a little bit, we're going to open that up a little bit more, and have more people come out and just kind of make it more of a networking thing, you know.
That's awesome. Oh my God. You got a lot of things going on here. You're keeping busy, it sounds like.
Yeah,
what do you do in your downtime?
I think with, you know, especially as like a modern day musician, it's not enough anymore to just be making music. You got to be doing something all the time.
Yep.
Whether you're a graphic designer part-time, you know, I think you'll find that a lot of artists kind of have side stuff. And for me personally, as an artist, I've always made the best music where it hasn't been like, I need to sit down and make a banger today, but more of my like release, like, okay, I just worked 4 hours on the academy. Let me sit down and just kind of, you know, let my mind loose a little bit, and try and write some feel good stuff. That's where I've come up with the best stuff. It hasn't been forcing the process.
Right.
I think artists, a lot of them might be better off if they had kind of a side thing going on at the same time, because it doesn't put that pressure on.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's kind of like like you kind of get inspired by all of the other projects you're doing and all the other outlets you have and people you're listening to.
Yeah, and using it as an outlet to kind of like blow off steam, instead of, you know, like some people go for a run or go to the gym. I just sit down on Ableton for 3 hours and work on music. That's kind of my, like, you know.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so excited for you. I really can't wait to see like everything blow up for you. And it's just like, I'm excited for you to be for things to open up and you to be able to get back to playing shows and stuff like that. But I have my last few questions for you here while we're manifesting things. Who are some dream collaborations you would love to have one day?
So, in general, outside of the dance world as well?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, these are like ones that don't really make sense, but like I'm a huge Gustavo Stein fan,
Oh, okay.
Which is just like, you know, super dark techno. But I love him. I love his artistry. So someone like that would be unbelievable. Lana Del Rey.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm really all over the place. Let's see, who else? Don Diablo would be definitely a bucket list. I'm still, I always send him music. I'm like, hey, you know, let me know. Always here.
It'll happen.
Yeah, those are some of the few. And I'm more of like always finding new artists and stuff like that. Like you said, like Vintage or Dombrowski. They're not like really dream collabs. I just always get excited when I discover a new artist and kind of dive in. So like right now, like MK would be a dream collab.
Yeah.
But in 5 years from now, I'm sure I'd say someone different. You know?
Yep. Ooh, okay. What about festivals? What are some festivals you still would love to play?
Well, EDC has, I played it a couple times, and that was, I need to probably go to more. Like, I haven't been to Tomorrow World yet, or Tomorrowland.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's probably, like, I've just seen videos of it, so that would definitely be a bucket list. And then obviously like Coachella or Bonnaroo would be super cool. But yeah, I need to get out of my shell a little bit more with, I've just been very EDC centric.
Same.
So,
yeah. I feel like it's hard though when there's when there are so many incredible festivals in the United States, it's hard. But yeah, this past year I've been doing a ton of research on like festivals internationally. Yeah, and there's just so many that look so incredible. I'm like, after this is over, I'm going international. See you later.
There's one in, I think it's Croatia, right? I can't think of the name, but it's like a 48-day festival or something like that. I think.
Wow.
Doing insane where it just like doesn't stop for like forever.
Croatia would be beautiful. Yeah.
So something like that would be sweet also.
Ooh, okay. And then you said you're a big traveler too. Like, what are some favorite cities you've done already that you loved?
Yeah, so let's see. Well, yeah, so I played Sweden a couple times, and a place called Orebro. I never say. I'm horrible with like. I probably butchered, cities,
You're
art,
good.
all that. But yeah, so that was pretty cool because it's always cool when you go to a new city or a new country that you've never been to, and you're like, wow, they have some fans here. So that was really cool to see. I love San Francisco. I've played there a few times, and it's always a fun crowd. Miami, obviously, for Miami Music Week, stuff like that is always amazing.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think if there's anywhere else that has been like, college cities, like college. I played a couple college festivals, and just the energy is kind of unmatched because they're just like there to party.
Yep. I can't even.
Purdue, I played like it was like a student. It was like the dance community at the college through this party.
Wow.
That was like unreal.
Well,
So.
hopefully you'll do a lot of traveling when this is up, and some big events will come up for you and stuff like that. And yeah, we were gonna manifest EDC Orlando, EDC Las Vegas, all those things, and I seriously wish you like all of the best. I'm really excited to see new tracks. Any posts you have on social media, I'm really, really excited for you. Oh, before you go, plug where everybody can connect with you too.
Yeah, so all socials are at Landis Official, and then the academy is at Wired Sound Academy _ on Instagram, and Fresh Squeeze is at Fresh Squeeze HQ on Instagram. Yeah, I'm pretty active, mainly on Instagram for all my socials.
Okay, sweet. And on TikTok too. We're trying to get you.
gotta get so much better. I just need to get more consistent posts. I love it. Like I called TikTok like in 2018. I've been messaging shufflers on there since then.
That's so funny.
It's so cool as a platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're big on there, right?
I don't know. I mean, like, I think it's a lot to keep up with. Like, as a creator, to do really well on it, you have to post like so many times a day, and I just like can't right now. But as a user, love it. It's addicting. Yeah,
not enough DJs are on there. We gotta change that. I'm posting like I try like 3 times a week, but I should be doing like 10 times a day.
It's crazy. Yeah. The algorithm. Yeah, I know. It's too much. But no, I mean, you're doing the best you can. You're busy. Keep up with everything. And everybody go support, show some love. I will link to all of your pages on here. Landis, hang tight. Everybody else, I'll be back with EDM News. Alrighty, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Landis. Again, please go show him some love and support. Check out the record label and any of the new releases they have. And again, if you guys are aspiring artists and you live in the Fort Lauderdale area, definitely check out the Wired Sound Academy and see if you can learn a thing or two and join their group over there. Okay, I want to dive into news because we have a very big thing to talk about today, which is obviously the EDC Las Vegas announcement. So at the time I'm recording this on Friday the 9th, we just heard officially that EDC Las Vegas will be taking place this May 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. It is the 25th anniversary of this event, so that is all really, really exciting. If you guys didn't listen to the episode, I think it was 2 episodes ago, I spoke for an hour about my feelings on live events coming back. And like I said, in that episode, it's not an easy decision. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it, but I did say in that if EDC does happen in May, I am gonna go, and I feel confident in that decision. I will be fully vaccinated. I'm gonna be able to quarantine before and after. Like everybody, I think it's gonna feel very weird when we first get there, and I have a lot of questions about their health and safety plan. But I have faith and trust in the Insomniac team, and we will see what they decide to roll out. I completely understand anybody who's very frustrated, people who wanted it to be in October, people who can't travel because they live internationally. Like, it fucking sucks because there's a large number of people who aren't able to attend based on this decision to have it in May. So I hear you guys and I feel for you, but it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna vlog the entire experience, of course, and then anybody who is able to attend, please don't throw shade or hate at them. Like, it's happening, it's a legal event, and if people want to attend and go have a good time, they have every right to do that. So it is what it is. And if any of you guys can't attend, push your tickets to 2022. Like, that will come around so fast. Like, a year flies by so fast, you have no idea, and you'll probably get even more of a full, in quotations, full EDC experience if you do it next year. I mean, who knows what it'll be like, but Here's the announcement really quickly. So basically, Pasquale Rotella said, Electric Daisy Carnival is finally on the horizon. There were times during this pandemic when many of us lost hope. We were challenged to learn and listen to our hearts and trust that the storm would eventually pass, making way for a bright and sunny future for those in the community and around the world. With the world being shut down for over a year, I'm happy to announce we are on our way to being able to celebrate in person. Book your flights, hotels, and shuttles. EDC Las Vegas is on for May 21st through the 23rd. This is where it gets interesting. Did you guys just hear my stomach? I'm literally so hungry, just growled. Okay, we are moving forward as planned, and we will be working closely with local and state officials to make the show as safe as possible. You can expect the full EDC experience with no details spared, from the festival grounds to the music, stages, art, performers, artists, and fireworks. I look forward to seeing all your beautiful faces and feeling your incredible energy, and couldn't be more excited. More details on safety protocols and the lineup will be shared soon. Details to come on that, you guys. Oh my gosh. If you're unable to attend, no worries, you will be missed. You can get the link in my bio to transfer your tickets. I'm hearing, I could be wrong, but I'm hearing the cutoff date to transfer your tickets is April 15th, which would be tomorrow. So if you want to transfer your tickets, you guys, act on that quickly. Okay, I'm not really going to touch on how I feel about it. Again, I did that in the other episode. I'm excited about it. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, in other news, Lost Lands sold out. Not surprising at all. Is anybody surprised about that? Yeah, Lost Lands has officially sold out, which is crazy. Illenium announced that he has a new album dropping this summer called Fallen Embers, which I know all of my millennials will be really, really excited about. And the last thing, I didn't really want to end on this note, but I do need to talk about the news that just recently came out about the lawsuit filed against Bass Nectar, so I'm going to get into that really quickly. Okay, there's been a lot of major coverage on this. This has made like major headlines, so this is from Business Insider. A new lawsuit against EDM superstar Bass Nectar accuses him of sex trafficking, statutory rape, and producing child pornography, which are very, very heavy claims. So basically, two people have filed a federal lawsuit against the artist Bass Nectar, otherwise known, his real name, Lauren Ashton. The lawsuit accuses him of making child pornography, sex trafficking, and statutory rape. Ashton's attorney told Insider that the accusations against the musician are untrue. Of course, so he's denying everything, but this is as far as I know, because I've covered the story in the past, like he, over a year ago, made his public statement saying he was like taking a step back from, you know, the Bass Nectar project in music, but there were no official lawsuits against him at that time. There were stories, there was a page called Evidence Against Bass Nectar, but there was also a recording of him that came out that was pretty damning. You know, I think accusing him of grooming or something along those lines. So there was definitely evidence against him, but this is the official federal lawsuit that's been filed against him. What else does this say? The lawsuit against Ashton was filed in the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Tennessee by two former fans. I'm not going to use their names here. Both plaintiffs accuse the musician of manipulating them, coercing them into producing and sending naked images while underage, and of statutory rape. In the filing, the plaintiffs allege Ashton exhibited a penchant for underage women that was known amongst his peers. The filing indicates it was a running joke among those associated with Bass Nectar that he would have to find a date at a high school dance. That's disgusting. There was also, these women also accused the artist of paying them $300 to $1,600 in cash after having sexual intercourse, and encouraged them to watch a movie, American Beauty, a film centered around a man in his 40s who falls in love with his 16-year-old daughter's friend. Okay, anyway, I don't want to get into this. It's like very disturbing and troubling. Yeah, that's out there if you guys want to read the article. It's extremely upsetting, and disappointing isn't even the right fucking word. I don't even really know what to say. It's disgusting. I was never a fan of Bass Nectar. I know he's coming in the camp of denying all of these allegations, but I will leave that up to you guys to read all of the information, resources, and make your own judgment. But yeah, I think there's been a lot of damning evidence against him and some of his actions in the own recording of him. So not a fan. This is absolutely horrible, and you know, I stand with anybody standing up and speaking their truth. So I will keep you guys posted on what happens with that lawsuit. That was the last thing I had today. I, again, just really want to thank you guys for checking out these episodes and being a part of the Rave Culture Cast family. You are so appreciated, and I hope you're enjoying the episodes that I've been coming out with lately. More to come on EDC, you guys. I will definitely do an episode to help anybody prepare out there who's like freaking out right now. But yes, again, the Plur collection is officially out. If you guys want to pick up anything from the merch line, there will be a link in the show notes. And of course, you guys, I would love, love, love to work with you inside my podcasting course. So this is your sign. If you've ever wanted to start and you need somebody to tell you these are the exact steps you should take to launch your podcast in 6 weeks, I'm your girl. So definitely would love to have you in class. The registration link will be up. And again, right now I'm doing a pre-sale offer. It is $100 off the full course price. So get in on that while you guys can. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye, guys.